Shalom, Yasharala. All praises to the Most High, Yah. Let's take a little bit of time and watch this clip real quick, and then we're going to get into more commentary around it.
Are not black. You don't have the right to say that word. You do not come from a lineage of bondage. You do not come from a place where you were sold.
The same reason why black people say nigga is the exact same reason why Mexicans could say nigga. Black people was enslaved, them niggas was enslaved too. Why the hell you think they speak Spanish? Why the hell you think majority of them are Catholics? Same reason why you speak English today. Same reason why you a Christian today. When they got to South and Central America, you know what those Spaniards called them? Negroes. That's what they called the indigenous of the...
All right, let's talk about it. There's a couple of important constructs that we have to address within this conversation that we're talking about with the N-word, right? First off, the word black itself is a construct. When we subscribe to the word black, we're actually subscribing to the laws that were put onto us within the construct that we operate in. We're so used to saying the word black, we're so used to subscribing to the word black that we don't really realize that that is a recent term, black. It's something that they really pushed and advocated for towards the end of the 1960s into the 1970s. When you do research on Jesse Jackson and when you do research on like even people like Al Sharpton, some of those who were in power, some of those who were part of legislature and laws that were from the black community, that was a term that was put into place. You also have to understand that we've gone through a lot of different terms for us as people of color, right? First, we were called Negroes. Then we were called people of color. Then we started advocating for this term of black. And majority of the terms that we subscribe to, we didn't put those terms onto ourselves. Those terms were given to us through either legislature, through laws, through the documents that we sign and we check off. The word black is recent. It used to be even derogatory to be calling somebody black. Now, the N word with people who are of the Afro-Latino or the Latin community. It's not wrong. I'm Afro-Latino. So this is where I'm at with it as I go into it. I'm Afro-Latino. So on my mom's side, my mom's lineage is Mexican. There's other, foundational Black American root that's in there, meaning that my family that is Mexican on that side, they're from San Antonio, which goes into the Seminoles, the Gullah Geechee, and also that is a part of my lineage. And then on my father's side, his bloodline came from originally Haiti. They came through Haiti into Cuba, through New Orleans, changed their name, and became acclimated into the United States. That's something that happened, I believe, in the early 1920s, 30s, when that happened on my dad's side. So, there's a lot of deeper conversation within that. And some of that side of the bloodline on my great-great-grandfather's side was already rooted in New Orleans. So there's layers to, our roots. But the N-word, one of the things that we have to acknowledge within the N-word is that it came from Spain. It does have some connection to the Ethiopian root when we're talking about negas. When we're talking about the word Niger, you know what I'm saying? Nigeria, it does have some connections to that as well. But when you really do research on the word Negro, Yahya the Negro is somebody that you should do your own research on and understand. But he was a Hebrew Moor that resided in Spain. And during that time, he actually migrated into Spain during the time of the Moors' rule, the Muslim Moors, their rule in Spain. Within that, The Spaniards that were enslaved by the Muslim Moors during that time, they asked Yahya the Negro to take uh, arms with them to fight the Muslim Moors. In fact, the thing about the Hebrew Moors during that time is that they were great warriors. So they were the few that could actually push out the Muslim Moors during that time. So blackness, darkness, melanation, the construct of black and white is very recent. During the 15th century, you would have been considered a Moor. During the 15th century, even when we're talking about colonization, when Christopher Columbus came over here with the conquistadors as well, the conquistadors were what we consider black. They were dark melanated. So the whole colonization and the ways that we look at it in the terms of white and black is way more complex than the constructs that we subscribe to today. It's a deeper conversation. It goes into not all skin folk or kinfolk. So I put that back on to Mexicans or Afro Latinos who use the word, the N word, right? The thing about it is, just like I said, not all skin folk are kinfolk. Just because we're all dark melanated doesn't mean that we have, um, doesn't mean that we're a monolith, right? We don't all think the same. We don't all subscribe to the thing. In fact, what we're currently dealing with right now within politics between, um, the Democrats and the Republicans, it really highlights that in the times that we're in. There are people who are considered black who subscribe to a more conservative point of view, and there's people who are considered black who consider themselves more liberal. So when we're talking about this N word, I think it's really what you really connect to. Are you trying to be grafted into um, the supremacy that we call whiteness in America? Or do you see yourself in alliance, in allegiance with those who are dark melanated? Because if you see yourself as us, then nah, you are us. So I don't have a problem with it. But if you're somebody who, because you have dark melanated people in your family and you make fun of those dark melanated people in your family and you have a strong um, preference towards the supremacy that rules the world right now, that's another conversation. You saying that word is derogatory at that point because you're not trying to be us. In fact, you're trying to escape from us. You're trying to be other. That's the conversation that needs to be had. Yeah. If you want to get down to the root of it, Dominicans are us. Cubanos are us. Puerto Ricans are us. Mexicans, when you even get to the root of the first president that was of Mexico, that's us. He was dark melanated. The Seminoles, when they escaped persecution here in the United States after they had defeated the actual United States during that time, where did they escape to? Mexico. So yeah, no, like there's much, and even when we're talking about the Native American and indigenous roots, there's a reason why we're divided, and that's how they conquer us, is because they keep us separate within the constructs and these ideologies of race. It's very important for us to challenge that. And if we're to come together, it's very important that we see ourselves as the same. That's the conversation. That is the real battle. See, even when we're talking about the battles that were going on in the 2010s, I was very active in that during the 2010s of the Black Lives Matter and even like the water rights that were fought by the indigenous community, or even like the rights for the Chicanos that were fighting to you know not be kicked out of the United States based off of laws and legislatures. That's all the same people if you paid attention, but we separated all the movements. Now think about all of those movements if we were all to have worked together through the Most High, under the Most High's guidance. It's a different battle. So that's one of the things, even when we're talking about the Arabic people, right? People who are overseas that really do come from the same bloodline of the Moors. We're the same people. But, based off of constructs and racism, we separate ourselves and we divide ourselves. That's the thing that we have to recognize. That's the thing that we're actually battling. And if we continue, even when we're talking about Samoans, even when we're talking about, people who are in the islands, Filipinos, all of them are us. We're all the same. At least we may not be all the same phenotype, but we're all Moors when it comes down to the root of our melanation and the melanated people who ran the world, who established the world, who are indigenous to this world. Um, Asians, all rooted from dark melanation. Those are the things that I don't feel like is really a question, but because we're so hypnotized and put into a spell of the construct that we're currently operating in, none of us can admit it because it doesn't benefit us in this system to admit that. That's why we have to come out of Babylon. All praises to the Most High Yah. Bless up to those who are chosen. Shalom, shalom. Let's continue the conversation. Leave comments down below if you're in agreement or disagreement within this. If you have information or insights that you like to add on to it. All that to say, keep your mind on the Most High. Pray up. Shalom.